And welcome once again to another episode of Stu Him Productions presents
J&M Solve the World. I am James.
And I am Matt. And with us on the phones tonight, my favorite brother from the state of Sodak, or South Dakota, if you will. Give it up for the one, the only Wayne Swear.
Hey, happy to be here, Matt.
Happy to have you on. And my brother from another mother, your favorite Italian and mine from the state of Florida. Give it up for Dwight.
What's happening? Thanks for having me, guys. Wayne, a pleasure to be on with you again, sir.
Likewise, always a pleasure.
Okay, gentlemen, tonight we are going to talk about something that no one really talks about. You try not to talk about it on a first date.
Not unless you're drunk at the bar and people are crying on your shoulder.
Right. But we're going to talk about exes. Now, but.
Not the letter X.
No.
Not Generation X.
Because that's all of us.
Not new Twitter.
And
not
actually.
Not new Twitter.
Right. And actually.
Not SpaceX.
What year were you born, Wayne? Not to.
86.
Okay. You are on the cusp, and they've actually come out with a name for those that, like the late Gen X, early millennials.
Yep.
They're called Zennials, spelled with an X.
Oh,
no, God, please, no, no.
Oh, I can't say
no.
That. You'll have to edit that out.
No.
Would you rather be called a millennial?
I was going to say, you
I
can
own
say
a
this,
business, dude. I'm not trying to have my business burn to the ground. At the same time, I have insurance. It would probably be the best thing in the world. But
Damn. Shit.
I'll
I'm
delete
just-
all of that.
Yeah.
My friend Joe has a guy.
Well, you did say gay, which is not
I mean,
derogatory.
The
There's
Webster's-
Yeah, but I used it describing something that was lame. That's kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
see, the Webster's
Stop fighting
Dictionary says that gay actually means happy.
Exactly.
And
Well,
in a derogatory term,
Well,
in a derogatory way, there are, especially about exes,
Well,
you don't want to be happy.
the Flintstones theme song. And have a gay
Oh, yeah.
old time.
Yeah,
Yep,
okay.
yep.
I mean, you got a point.
Right, have a happy time. So there you go.
So we're not going to say names because we're not protecting the innocent. We're protecting
the-
ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the
And
guilty.
yes,
Some
and-
names have been changed to protect the innocent.
said no one ever. And we're not going to talk about like actual dates.
Mm.
On January 3rd, 2007, fucking
How can I remember
horror
that?
number X did, yeah, no.
No, it's actually January 3rd, 1980. No.
All right, so we're going to start with Wayne. I
Oh,
want you,
Yeah, you get to be first.
yeah, to
Since you're the
tell me about the worst ex of your life. And what just the one thing that she did that puts her at the top of the list.
She's definitely top of the list, judging by his reaction there.
Right.
I don't think he has to even think about it.
No.
No, I know which one's at the top of the list. There ain't no question about it, homie.
Yeah. So
The
please,
worst
if you
thing
will.
done. So we'll have to talk offline on that one because it's not one that I would actually talk about.
Okay,
Because
okay.
there's just too many detail involved.
Right.
But to answer that, I would have to say it was, geez, man. So, I can't even go into that one. I'm really trying to dance around this, man. It's
Come on,
like you said, we can't drop names. We have to even be careful
Yeah.
about what we say that ain't too obvious.
Bring out your inner politician.
So here's what we can do.
Yeah.
Just like the police have done for ages.
Allegedly.
No. anytime a female comes into a coroner's office that has no identification, she's Jane Doe.
There you go.
Just like every man is John Doe. Right. I'm not going to judge you, Dwight. So,
none of your business.
So I'm just going to say, you know, I was
paid good money for that.
Yeah.
I was essentially homeless for a time being. I mean, I owned a home legally, but was unable to occupy, and that's a mixture between that individual and a judicial system that unfortunately is not set up in any way, shape, or form in a lot of ways to assist men that are looking to, you know, seek help to get out of something that's toxic and that at times, and to call it what it is. And let me preface this statement with I don't believe in pardon me. I don't believe in the whole victim mentality. I never view myself as a victim, but I am definitely a survivor, and I'm a quick learner, and I learn from shit. That said, at times abusive. Okay, I think it's a topic that a lot of men don't talk about because it's just how we're brought up in society. So all of that said, I would say that was probably one of the worst ones, particularly because my home, you know, I lost my leg in Afghanistan serving with Matt. For those that don't know this information, I have a home that was built by an organization that builds severely wounded troops, completely ADA homes. Now missing a leg, at the end of the day, I'm in a wheelchair. My home is completely accessible for me. It's a shower. I ain't got to worry about biffing it in and cracking my skull, stuff like that. So to be misplaced from my home in this situation was not ideal nor safe. But
I mean, I'm going to say that qualifies, but at the same time, I am completely jealous of this man's shower, because unlike the rest of us who have to get in and adjust the water temperature and get wet or get shocked by that cold water, no, he does it from the outside.
Nice.
Yeah.
I digitally set what temperature I wanted at. I find 110 degrees is ideal, and then I fucking select what jet and misters I want and stuff. Nice. And then I just, you know, roll on in and freaking slide down the big bench, and I got multiple freaking heads going. It's wonderful, man.
Sweet.
Yeah.
You're in a rainforest, basically. Just
Yeah. Dwight, if you will, tell us about your worst ex of all time and what she did or he to be at the top of the list. I mean, I'm not assuming here because
it's all okay.
This is the first week of Pride Month. I'm just going to say that. So this is a free.
My pride flag has
$20 is $20.
Red and white stripes, a little blue square with 50 white stars in it. So go on.
Okay. I mean that's part of the rainbow. Okay, Dwight.
That's cute.
Please proceed.
It's very, very hard to proceed without any kind of detail. So no names, no dates.
Nope.
Time span, anything like that?
I mean, I could talk about your ex with as much as I know about her. If it happens to be the one that I'm thinking of.
Oh, I'm sure it is. And like just like Wayne, there was no fucking thought process about this. It was like, I have my number one.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So please tell us about your number one, top of the list, worst ex of all time.
Can I mention whether there was a matrimony involved or not?
No, I mean it doesn't matter. There can be, there can't be. You know,
up to your discretion.
Yes.
Well, like I said, I want to be very conservative, and especially any children involved. It just if you span the course of at least 4 years after the fact, and probably 3 years prior to that, and a couple of years following it, and having to get into physical confrontations with new boyfriends, having to deal with theft of my property, having to deal with false claims in which the police were involved, where I had to and was very easily able to prove my innocence. Things that could very well easily be considered as child abuse. So not sure how much more I can elaborate on that.
Okay.
Or within the parameters of what we're talking about, or where you guys want me to go with it.
I mean, that
but
I know I've got the picture because we have talked offline.
You know me intimately,
Yes.
and you know exactly what the fuck I'm saying.
I mean, we do have a shower curtain together.
We need a new one, though, man, because I got a bunch more ink on my arm, dude.
Well, see, now here's where you
If
can
you
help
show
us.
up in August, you guys can go down to Nemo Beach and do another picture.
I mean, but here's where Dwight could help us, and even Wayne, and all of our soon-to-be hundreds of subscribers and listeners.
Yes.
By July 31st, 200 followers on YouTube and
200
100
subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
100 followers on
Spotify.
Spotify.
There will be a 2025 J&M Solve the World calendar, which will be different than the previous calendars released by myself.
Yeah, I won't be wearing a thong.
I mean,
Damn it.
I am wearing Ranger panties under.
I was going
that.
to say it, Matt. Can we please rock the Ranger panties for old time's sake, bro?
Bro, I mean, we can. I mean,
You have to do it for Wayne.
well, okay. Have you two gentlemen changed your calendars over? Because it is June 1st.
This morning, and lost a
Right.
bunch of blood flow to my brain.
No, I haven't yet.
It is Pride Month.
Yes. And you will like the
Proudest.
message.
I think, Matt, you would be called a bear. I mean,
No.
you're not as hairy, but you got the belly and stuff to go with it.
Well, I mean,
You know. I mean, definitely,
Damn.
Andy and I would be considered a bear. But
Andy's a gorilla. Yeah.
Play the crickets. Play the crickets.
I mean,
Dude,
it's yes.
on a real note,
Yes.
Matt, you need to send a copy on a real note, dude. Like this is real, okay? Like
uh-huh.
good advertising, good publicity. You seriously need to send a copy to promote J&M of your calendar to it's Trixie and Katja, right?
Yeah.
Trixie and Katja. Have you watched those drag queens? They're freaking hilarious, bro.
Dude,
and you know me, I'm about as conservative
Yes.
as it gets, dude. Like I can see it for what it is, right?
I would
I'm-
love to get my calendar onto RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, dude. Like for real. Start
Yes.
with Trixie and Katja. That is that is for real your entry into like
Dude,
superstar.
I
Like,
could
for real.
sit-
No pun intended.
Yeah. last year's calendar.
Super
make-
chocolate starfish.
to make this clear, Matt's last calendar, he is not in drag, though.
No,
But
No.
it was a Halloween show
Yep.
on Halloween.
No, I'm talking about this current
Oh,
calendar.
the
That-
2024
that-
calendar?
that-
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're not in drag.
No.
No.
I thought you were talking about that shower curtain. The other one.
Oh,
He was
The
in
one in
drag.
the master
then.
bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still digs it.
okay. Back to the topic at hand.
Yeah.
James,
Yes, sir.
if you will, tell us the number one top of the list X that screwed you over without mentioning names.
Hey, real quick. Now, James, I apologize, sir.
Go ahead.
You were alluding to something, Matt, before we went down the rabbit hole there. So, if I may, and I don't think this is giving away
yes,
too
I'm sorry.
information, but if
Yes.
gentlemen, out there, if you're ever in some kind of fucked up situation where, I think there's too much focus on men being fucked up. All right. There's plenty of women, all due respect, ladies, plenty of yous that are fucked up though. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a man in a situation like that, get a female lawyer. This is a PSA.
Oh, yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's nothing, women, and ladies, you leave the comments below. You correct me if I'm wrong, but I have found there's almost nothing more that you can't stand than a fucking deadbeat whore.
Right.
So, and get a female lawyer. I had one.
Then there's the old adage that all women hate all women.
Mm-hmm.
And you get a female lawyer, she's gonna fucking try to do everything she can to make sure you come out on top.
Oh,
okay.
On top of that, at one point there was a female judge involved, dude.
Mm.
And her demeanor went 180, dude, when she saw who was the defendant and who was the fucking plaintiff and shit like that. So,
well,
just
okay.
saying.
Let's think about it like this. Women, in my experience, and this is just my experience,
right?
Woman to woman, they are nice as can be to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment they're no longer around, fuck that bitch. Blah, 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 and they go off.
Did you see that shit she was wearing? Looked
Right.
like a fucking whore. Yeah.
Guys, on the other hand, I'm going to call you out on your bullshit right then and there.
Well, here's the deal. Especially as young men and women. If the four of us, we could live together and coexist. I mean, yeah, there'd be some
awkward moments.
Yeah, you walk in and catch Dwight jerking off to the shower curtain you guys made, something like that.
Wayne getting a blowjob in the living room,
right? Stuff like that.
You can't prove that in court.
but men can coexist together as roommates.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, unless one of them's just a total dipshit and don't pay their way.
I mean, I can assure you that yes, we can. Matt, how tight were our quarters overseas for 13 months straight, dude?
I mean, there was at one time, I cannot confirm nor deny that it got really cold in Afghanistan, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Cold in Afghanistan.
I'm going to leave it at that.
But you take four women.
It's body heat, and there was no eye contact. Let me guess. I wasn't there with you. And I respect you guys for that. So I'm going to go ahead and say those. I think that's the case.
But you take four women and put them in a small apartment.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't going to last very long.
No.
I mean.
You got a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law.
I mean, that's why I got to commend my wife, and I will mention her name.
Yes.
Because when we first got together, we lived with my mom for several years. And the fact that they were able to coexist that long without having a knockdown, drag out fucking fight is a fucking miracle.
Okay. How long have you and Ann been married?
We got married in 1997. So do the math. That's...
Dude, you're asking me to do math? Really?
20,
I graduated from
7 years.
Yeah. I graduated from Buffalo, Missouri. Okay.
I want to help you, but Kim's sleeping.
But
Half part.
now I can honestly say, before I let James continue on,
5 minutes later.
yeah, I've never seen them fight.
Oh, we have.
Like truly yell at, F you, go suck a fart out a wet baby's ass, or, go take a long walk off a short pier, or I hope you fucking fall on a unicorn that goes straight up your ass, or, just something like that. I've never heard anything like that.
We've had plenty of arguments.
Disagreements?
Disagreements, especially early on. But what was funny was every fucking one of them was over neither one of us understood why the other was mad at the time. And we got into it over that, and it's like, what the fuck, and then when we realized the other person's side of the story, it was like, oh, well, okay, I can see why you done that, da-da-da-da-da, You know,
Okay.
it wasn't, you know, I can honestly say I don't think we've ever went to bed angry. We've always, I mean, we might have stayed up till 2:00 in the morning hashing it out, but then
Had makeup sex, went to sleep, woke up the next morning, had makeup sleep, or makeup sex.
you know,
Um,
I'll
Or
never,
the sleep is nice
I'll
too,
neither
let's be
confirm
honest.
nor deny,
Yeah.
but you know, usually it was over some stupid shit
right.
that the other one, I didn't understand her point. She didn't understand my point. And then once we talked it out, it's like, oh, okay, I get it, you know.
Okay.
So
Now,
anyway.
to reel back, number 1X, top of the list, worst of the worst, without mentioning names.
I gotta say, honestly, both of my divorces were pretty amicable. You know, I'd say, but the worst was probably the first,
Okay.
just because financially, she put me in a fucking hole.
And
And then when she left, or
Mhm.
said she was going to leave, because I worked too much, because, yeah, she wasn't fucking working and sitting on her ass and eating Cheetos all day.
And putting on makeup at 9:00 at night.
I could have told that story.
And making more bills all the fucking time. And I found out more later, you know, she would, you know, I think, what was that famous bar? Was a store, kind of like Macy's or Dillard's or
yeah,
whatever
okay,
and everything.
okay,
And we
yeah.
had a famous bar card.
Oh! I'm thinking.
you
I'm
remember-
thinking like bars that
no,
are famous.
No. Famous bar.
Okay.
They were across from the mall, across
Yeah.
Battlefield over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
We had a famous bar card, and you could use that card at Ventures also. But she'd go up there and she'd buy a bunch of clothes and shit, and she'd come home and try them on, and they didn't fit, and she's like, okay, and she'd take them back and get cash. I found out this after the fact, and that card kept going up. Oh, what the fuck? You know, and there was other stuff like that, but from a financial
Yeah.
deal, it was the first. Second one was probably more emotional,
Okay.
but yeah, I'd have to say the first, you know, just because it set me back a ways
Mm-hmm.
to try to dig out of that
James,
shit.
James, if you don't mind me getting a little more personal with you, sir.
Sure.
A lot of that I can directly relate to, and I could have added to my comments. So let me ask you this, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I had to go fucking bankrupt, dude. Did you have to go bankrupt?
I got real close to pulling that trigger.
Okay, and that's fair. I'm not trying to be like, I had to do this. You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm coming from, dude.
Yep.
But no, I was handed about $200,000 to $300,000 worth of bills and went do something. So I went and did something, dude. And boy,
Mine wasn't
was
that
fucking
bad, but
pissed.
it was bad enough in 1993.
Yeah.
It was like,
No, she was mad as fuck. She's like, you did what? I'm like, yeah, you said do something. I did.
Yep, exactly.
So thank you for entertaining the question.
So for myself, there's one ex that beats out my ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
And
I thought about that too, but
yeah.
Wow. That's
Here,
impressive.
yes. And here's the reason why. Okay. We had met years and years ago. Like years ago. When James and I had a band together. And she was underage, and I was like, nope, not going to happen. Not touching that with a fucking 10-foot pole, unlike another person in our band. But he who shall not be named.
James.
No.
He played a percussion instrument.
Yes. But this person we dated when I moved back to, we started talking again when I lived in Tennessee. We started dating when I moved back to Missouri. And we linked up one time when she was up close to my house. The next morning, I sent her a text message. Hey, good morning. Have a great day. And I sent you an email. And she broke up over an email.
Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, this was not a 19-year-old girl at the time.
No.
This was a 40-something-year-old woman.
Yes.
That broke up with him over a
email.
Long-ass fucking email saying why they couldn't be together.
Right. And
that was pretty shitty.
Yes, it was. But the emotional toll that it took on me, sent me down a spiral that I didn't need to go on, to be 100% completely honest. And I'm not going to go into that, but you all know.
But thank God for Jesse Honey and J&M Solve the World.
Oh my God. A couple years prior to that, I had a big altering, life-changing experience that I still, to this day, I still can't handle. And I didn't need that, somebody that said that they loved me and I was their, dream person, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. And we all know how much.
Talked about marriage.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, I was gonna get ordained online.
Yes.
So I could do the ceremony.
Yes. He wasn't going to be my best man. No.
Nope.
He was going to be the officiator of said wedding. And a lot like Neo in The Matrix, I dodged that shit.
Yep.
Because
it was amazing how
James,
close.
I'll call you later. I'll call you later to confess.
Okay, so we're gonna go backwards on this one.
Backwards.
Yes, James.
Yes.
Of your exes, who is the one that really not only hurt you emotionally, but you every now and then something pops on the radio or a commercial or something like that. You're in the middle of work and a thought pops in your mind and it makes you think of her.
Well, probably the second wife.
Okay.
And I don't listen to country music, but every once in a while I can't escape it. Mm-hmm. That song, I like it, I love it, I want some more of it. I try.
Yeah.
I never get about all that. Just because when we were dating, it was like I'm going to get fired if I don't get some sleep.
Yep.
Yeah, that part kind of rang true during that period of 2 or 3 months or whatever the fuck it was.
Okay.
But it was like, and I just have a little flashback, but it's like, it's kind of like non-flashbacks, you
waking up in a cold sweat. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Yeah. Dwight.
Yo.
Who of all of your exes over the 49 years of your life is one that will pop into your mind and gives you a good memory, but at the same time, like sets you down. Like the memory pops in your head or a thought pops in your head and you just got to stop what you're doing and you're just like, huh. Well, let me ask you, do you have an ex like that?
That's a tough call. Because that doesn't conjure up any of the bad ones, really. It conjures up a few of the good ones.
Right.
So, and I can't relate any kind of song to it or anything like that. But as far as like, and what you were saying is that repeat the question one more time.
So, is there an ex in your past that it's not that
I think I have the answer here, but I want to hear
it's not that you're thinking of like what could have been or what if, but it's just something happens, whether it's a song, a commercial, a TV show, a smell, a taste, just reminds you of that person, and it stops you in your tracks. It stops you in your tracks, and you're just like, for even just a moment, you're like,
I know who Chris's would be every time he smells ham.
Ew. If it wasn't roast beef.
Shout out, Chris, if you're still listening to us.
So, Dwight, please.
Like I said, man, what you're asking, it doesn't really bring up any of the bad ones.
Right.
Right. There's some good ones that come up. I think I'm going to lead you into a PSA with this one here, and I think I got to get super serious here for a second, because I mean, like I said, there's some good ones, and there's shit. I could go into it, and it's really, it's all good stuff. But I was dating a really great girl, and still popping in and out. I mean, you have memories in this life. So I mean,
Right.
I think that memories, and pardon, I know I always fucking overtalk shit, but you can say this about any kind of memory or anything. But I was dating a girl that committed suicide.
Mm-hmm.
So that one, I think is the toughest to deal with. I got other ones that are, I could sit here for the next fucking 20 minutes and tell you stories about what was right or what was wrong. And at the end of the day, in this whole life, the butterfly effect, if you squash a mosquito in 1982, it changes what happens tomorrow in 2024. And I'm with Kim, and I have Roman, and life is great.
Right.
But to kind of answer the question, I think that was hard, man, because, and I had a buddy of mine one time, he goes, was that tougher than the divorce? And I said, no. Or yes, actually. I said, that was the tougher one. I said, and he goes, really? And I said, as painful as the second thing, divorce, as painful as that was, emotionally, physically, financially, everything, I said, there was no finality
Right.
to that. She was just, one day, I just woke up, and I had no fucking idea, and somebody, and it was we worked together, so, so it was a kind of a fucking under the table thing, like, let's keep this fucking quiet, because you know how politics are and shit when you go to a workplace.
HR and all
and,
that
and yeah, and somebody goes, oh, did you hear? Yada, yada, and I was like, I about fell on my fucking face,
Right.
So
not only did you lose somebody you were seeing, but you lost a work partner too, or a work relationship as well as a relationship.
Yeah, and my boss pulled me aside one day, and she goes, "You yourself, what's up?" And I said, "Well, we kept this under wraps, but we were dating." And she goes, "Okay." And she goes, "Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I just fucking shock value here. I got to work through that shit."
Right.
I said, "Well, believe me, if I was compromised, because I do, patient care. I said, if I was compromised, I would let you know." And she was really, really cool. I had a great boss, man. And do you need anything? Do you need time? Do you need whatever? No. I appreciate you.
No,
But,
time off. You like time off?
Yeah,
That'd be a good thing. I need to keep my mind occupied here.
Yeah, and it was the way the whole thing played out. It was, so that it was, but there's nothing. I mean, Kim knew her. They worked together. It eventually led to actually Kim and I getting together because I was single, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was. It was a little rough.
Yeah.
Now, what Dwight is...
I'm sure I stated this fucking shit out of that. But
what Dwight is leaving out of this is when his boss asked him, if there's anything I can do. And what Dwight said to her in his Italian ways was, show me them titties! No, I'm kidding. I'm completely kidding, but that's what I do.
Hey, like Ron White said, if you've seen him one set, you want to see them all.
Yeah, exactly. Wayne.
Yes.
Brother man, of all of your exes, is there one that conjures up a pleasant memory or one that pops into your head for a song, a commercial, a TV show, a sound, a smell, a taste, just something that just like makes you stop and for a moment makes you think about her in a good light,
So I would like to first and foremost, I think by answering this, I think you and I, we've had this conversation offline multiple occasions. So I think you already know the answer that I'm about to give. In fact, you helped me through a pretty rough time. In that moment, it was probably one of the hardest times of my life. I mean, I guess I could say lives because I did die technically once, but
that's neither here nor there.
You're right. But on a very real note, again, I feel like before I lead into this, I would like to preface my response to the question with, I have been very, very fortunate enough to genuinely find someone I feel is very much a soulmate, and in no way, shape, or form would I have wished to be with anybody else, or could even imagine myself with anybody else outside of that. Abby is absolutely wonderful, and she's the other part of me that I did not know I was missing. I always thought that whole find your other person or find your other half, right? It was bullshit. I'm like, I'm a whole person. What are you talking about?
Right. And
talk about
not to cut you off real quick, but
yeah,
all of your decisions and everything that has happened to you has led you to Abby.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't change anything, and everything that I am and can offer to Abby in a healthy, relationship is because of everything I've learned down the, my path, down this life so far.
Right. And everything that Dwight went through led him to Kim, his current wife, and his partner in crime. And everything that James went through has led him to his lovely wife, Anne, who does not beat around the bush.
Nope.
She tells it like it is, unlike Dwight's wife, who likes to play games with him in public, especially when big construction guys are around and they're getting sandwiches at Subway. But I digress.
Jersey Mike's.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jersey Mike's. But I digress.
Yeah,
Wayne,
so,
please.
I was going to insert that Kim and Abby, they need to meet too, man. So I'll buy you a gummy and they can talk about fucking shoes or whatever the fuck women do.
Right.
With all due respect to women.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
So anyways, moving forward from that, I was in a relationship short after I got hurt, a very serious one. And to understand fully, I didn't date really at all the whole time I was in the military. I didn't believe in it.
No.
And I didn't believe it fair to even think about trying to even start a family or a relationship because we were always gone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very much one of those like head in the game kind of guys. So when I finally started dating somebody, and it was somebody that I actually had a past with, and it was by fluke chance that we ended up running into each other in all places, well outside of where I grew up, uh, you know, in my area. Let's just say that half a country away from where we grew up. Very fluke chance that we've run into each other. Anyways, when that fell apart, I had just gotten out of the military, and I can understand now why things fell apart. I was not, really available emotionally. I was a drunk. You can ask Matt there. I was a raging alcoholic, and I was extremely, extremely mean. Like there's a reason I don't drink anymore, guys. So all of that said, when you hit rock bottom, there's nowhere to go but up, and then sometimes while you're there at the bottom, you're forced to kind of sit there in the corner and do nothing but stare at yourself, and there you see a pretty ugly thing, and you make some changes, and so I mean, there's definitely an X that was kind of a crossroads in my life for me, and it took me losing almost what I considered at that time everything in my life, which in all reality was really a very toxic relationship, a very immature relationship. But at that time, it was the catalyst I needed to say, you know what, I've got a serious problem. Maybe I should stop drinking so damn much and maybe go get some counseling or something because I saw some shit, man.
Yeah. Yes, you have.
So
Here in these conversations, we should have had Cody on here.
Yeah. But okay, for myself, and I can actually say this because I have actually been engaged more than one time. So I had an ex-fiance who I had met at one of my good friend's weddings. Briefly met her and her daughter and whatnot. But then a few years later, we start dating, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. And then we reconnect, and it's like, this is it. This is the one. But when they moved away from me, it's like time away really, really struck me because like all of a sudden here I am at the beginning, I was in a house that I've owned, but I've never spent any real time in because of deployments and everything like that. And now here, all of a sudden, I'm in a home or a house that's no longer a home. And it wasn't until later, and still to this day, I think I'm over it, and she'll pop into my head. And, you know, it could be a song, it could be a smell, but, you know, I know it doesn't compare to like what Wayne has went through or what Dwight has went through or what you have went through. But I thought at the time that she was the one because she was the one holding it down back here while Dwight, what are you doing?
Sorry, the dog's got a bottle here, a plastic fucking bottle. Is that really loud? I guess?
Yeah.
Really loud.
Yeah.
All right. Go inside and go see Mama. Dick.
But I mean, it hurt me for the longest time. And I mean, still to this day, even though I've found what I believe is the one who understands me, But there's always that, and I'm not saying like, oh, I would totally drop everything to get back with her. No. It's like Dwight was saying, there was no real closure. You know, it wasn't, I'll see you in court, you fucking see you next Tuesday, or, you know, get lost, you so-and-so, you know, you're too
See you next
toxic for me.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I am going to, one last question. And this will include names, but Wayne, going off of what you have learned from your exes, your current better half, Abby.
Yep.
What drew you to her after all of the heartache that you have had before?
She was easy to talk to. She was like a friend, like a homie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we started our first real conversation was about a fucking Rob Zombie concert at the Buffalo Chip, man.
Nice.
Like that, right? Like that's what I knew. She was my kind of fucking people.
Right.
We officially met, shook hands behind the counter, working together at the gun counter at Cabela's, dude. I mean, she was in charge of operations and asset protection, so security and all that good shit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah, dude. So, but we would take our breaks together and just hang out and talk. And this is when I was going through my divorce. And dude, I'm gonna tell you now straight up, dude. Like, I wanted nothing more. My dream, my ambition, what I saw myself doing was when I finally got home. Because the reality was, I knew sooner or later I was going to get back into my home. Was to be that dude that lives alone, that sticks with his dogs, and you know, that's it, right? Just that sounds peaceful to me. And Abby came along and ruined all of my plans in the most wonderful ways. God damn it, and God bless her at the same time for that. No, she has been my biggest cheerleader, and you know, we really don't fight, like genuinely don't fight at all. And you know, I took on a business adventure here and bought a business and all that stuff, and it's definitely had a lot of ups and downs, right? And she has been my biggest cheerleader and my biggest, you know, just source of strength and motivation to keep charging forward with stuff. So
that is awesome because, you know, when you were married, I saw you one time when you guys came to my house in Tennessee, and then shortly after that, it's like it became no contact.
Yep.
And when you reached out to me about going through that, I felt a great relief because I know you were going to be happier. And
I was at a point where I didn't care what I lost anymore, dude. Like,
right.
I could have lost everything and I would have gained everything.
Right. But it was the fact that, you know, talking to you over the past, oh God, I want to say almost a year, you've been happy. You have been just amazing. You have felt great. There's been no anger outbursts, you know, unless, of course, you're talking about she who shall not be named on the podcast.
Right. Indeed, yes.
But, you know, it's just the fact that, you know,
so can I
yes.
interject real quick here? So I know we can't give names, but there is a reference that myself and Abby have for that one that shall not be spoken about, and it is Pazuzu, which is the demon that from The Exorcist that possessed the girl, right? So Pazuzu. I mean, I think that we're still not dropping names, so I think it's totally acceptable.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
There was one in my past that wasn't married to me, but was married to someone we know and love, and we called her the succubus.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I think you know.
But no, dude, you're absolutely right, man. I'm like truly and genuinely happy, and I think I can say that for the first time in my life.
Yeah, because we talked a little bit earlier about your 80s retro game room / jam room, and you had your vision, and Abby was right there, and she was like totally agreeing with you, and it's the thing that really, like, I knew she was the one for you is when you gave me a little bit of her background, former law enforcement, former military. So she had her own life and you had yours, and it wasn't like she was trying to mooch.
Yes, I think that's a good way to put that.
Yes. Dwight.
Yep.
What did you learn from your exes that brought you to your current lovely, giving you the same amount of shit that you as an Italian does to her, wife of yours? What brought you guys together that you learned from your exes?
Oh, geez, first of all, she's an angel, and I don't know why she puts up with my shit. So that's equal.
We're trying to figure that out ourselves.
You guys know I'll get together on a conference call because I don't know if there's an answer, but it's a really good question. But what about all my exes that a lot of it was just getting to that point in life where like I just don't have time for bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
and I just don't have time for bullshit, and kind of a preface to it. I mean, whatever society says or whatever, I really believe that, everything starts with a physical attraction. You have to be able to look at somebody and go, oh, that's interesting. You know what I'm saying? No matter what it is, even if whatever kind of relationship, friendship, relationship, whatever. So with that said, in experiencing everything prior, again, I don't have time for bullshit. I don't have time for fucking games. I don't have time to hear about stories about your cousins, uncles, brothers, fucking aunts, and roommate, and what the fuck they did in 1987. I don't really give a shit, even in the position before where it's like, I don't even want a blowjob for the blowjob anymore. I want a blowjob so you'll shut the fuck up, but you would probably talk to that. So I'm just going to go home and jerk off and be done. And I swear to God, tell you that fucking story. But the level of intelligence in the serious in the serious portion of this answer of 27 parts. No, and then the level of intelligence. I was physically attracted to Kim. I didn't have time for shit. I was restarting my life. I was, got my shit straight. Got in a position where I could, provide, and it was like, wow, I think you're very, very pretty. You're beautiful.
And you have small hands.
Come to learn. Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. When you hold it, there you go. I think our hundreds of listeners, or almost hundreds of listeners, are smart enough to figure that one out. It's a level of intelligence, I don't need mindless bullshit, right? I don't need to explain, how to fucking turn the TV on every night.
Mm-hmm.
So, but her level of intelligence, and then it kind of went from there, and we just got each other, and I could say some shit, or she could say some shit, and we were on the same page, and it was that was really, really one of the most attractive things, you know, and to this day,
Yeah.
you know.
Now,
I remember what's that?
no, I've got comments about everybody's significant other that really sparks out to me, but I am going to wait.
Well, one of the moments, the first moment that I realized, you know, the level of intelligence, I was leaning on the fucking nurse's station. Kim's sitting on the other side of it. There's two other CNAs, and then there's this third CNA who is a real fucking, this guy, you shouldn't feed him a shit sandwich if he's starving. He was such a fucking piece of shit. And I looked at him, and I was like, I said, you know what, man? I said, you're about as fucking useful as a doorknob on a fucking wall. And just, we're gonna buzz the tower, Goose, right over his head, right? And the other two, they don't react. And Kim looks up at me. She takes a moment, quick moment. She looks at me and she goes, she's laughing now, and she goes, you didn't just say that, did you? And I'm like, yeah, I just did. And I said, I'll see you later, and I walked away. But it was that moment where it was like, okay, I directly addressed someone, went over their skull. Two other fucking people couldn't pick up on it, and it's not like I didn't have their undivided fucking attention. And you're over there on a computer, and you got it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And now we transition to James. What did you learn from your exes that brought you into and became head over heels in love with your bride?
I don't know that I learned anything from the exes except for what I didn't want.
Okay.
There you go.
I didn't know what I wanted, but I knew for sure what I didn't want.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost just as important.
Because right before I met Ann, I'd been dating my first older lady.
Mm-hmm.
She was like 15 years older than me. I'm in my late 20s at the time. And it was cool, but I told her, I said, you know, one day I want to have a family of my own and everything. She's like, oh, that's cool. You just let me know, da-da-da-da, if you meet somebody, okay. But and I was working out at the bar at the time, as well as my regular 40-hour plus week job.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I talked to some strange young girl, she would get all kinds of fucking bent out of shape, jealous shit. Who's that? I don't know. I was just talking to her. I was like, I thought you said I could meet new people. She's like, I was talking about somebody you already knew. I'm like, I don't want to be with anybody I already know. You know,
Yeah.
That's like, fuck.
I've already fucked them.
Yeah, I've already fucked them. No. But anyway, we split up. Then I met Ann, and I'll never forget this. It was on a Wednesday night. I got to DJ at the bar on Wednesday, plus be the bouncer on Wednesday nights. And she'd had a girl call in sick. She was an environmental service supervisor at a nursing home. And she had a girl call in sick. And so she had to work her shift. She was salaried, of course. She'd worked her whole full day and then had to work this girl's shift. And she's like, I bet that little bitch is at the bar. And she came out there in her scrubs and everything. And I noticed her walk in because when she walked in like she owned the fucking place. And that just kind of struck me. It was kind of like, who's this? You know? And I could tell she was older because Ann's 13 years older than me. But I'm like, oh, okay. And sure enough, that girl was there. And Ann didn't say nothing to her, but she knew she'd been busted. But I got out of the DJ booth and I was going to the bathroom and she was sitting by the door and she stopped me. And she goes, you're kind of pretty. I'm like, you need fucking glasses. She goes,
you haven't met a lot of people, have you?
She goes, no, I don't. She goes, I don't need glasses to see you. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And just kind of blew it off, you know. And the next Wednesday night, she decided, he's kind of cute. I think I'm going to go back out there. And of course, she was going through a divorce then, and she thought men were pond scum, and all I was wanting to do was just get laid, didn't care, you know. And we ended up talking that night. We ended up out on the front porch with another bouncer that worked with me, and she knew him.
Right.
Because he worked for CMH and stuff.
Right.
And we sat out there, and then I'm thinking, well, as soon as he leaves, she's gone, right? Well, he left, and we sat there, and we kept talking. It was kind of like you, Wayne, but we were talking about Star Trek and shit. We were fucking Trekkies and shit, you know? And it's like, okay, this is fucking interesting, you know? Well, about it, and another thing, at the time, I'd lost my 40-hour-a-week job, and I was just working out there for $25 a night. So I was making no goddamn money. This is in 96. But we sat there, and I walked her to her car. She's like, okay, well, I'll see you later. And she gives me this little smooch on the lips. And she got in her car, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? I'd been kissed by numerous women, you know, smooches and whatever, you know, I'm a bouncer. I hugged everybody. It's like, God damn it, there was something fucking there. What the fuck? But was still playing it. It took me a month and a half before I finally talked her into coming home with me. So I'm going, well, okay. And, you know, and I told her the same thing because she was 13 years older than me. It's like, you know, someday I'd like to have a family of my own. She's like, well, you're not going to do it here because I ain't having no more babies. I'm like, all right. She goes, you meet somebody, you let me know and I'll back off. Well, she never did get jealous. And we never really dated. She just came out to the bar when I was working. And then, of course, we had the band.
Yep.
And she'd come to the shows and everything. And, 6 months later, I'm like going, God damn, I'm fucking happy.
Yeah.
I'm fucking happy for, you know, do I really want to go have a kid with some bitch and then end up having to pay child support and everything? Or do I want to be fucking happy?
Yeah.
I think I'm going to choose happy.
Happy.
And shortly after that, I asked her to marry me, and, you know,
yeah,
here we are.
And now you have a daughter and 2 grandsons.
Actually, I have a daughter and a stepson and 4 grandsons, but
right.
Yeah.
But the son
and the
doesn't.
other 2, you don't talk to us anymore.
Right.
That's beside the point.
So, for me, my current love bug, I will say, those that have watched or listened to our Memorial Day podcast will hear her clear as day because she has a very deep New England accent. And she uttered those 3 words, and I've said it to her before.
Go fuck yourself?
No.
Oh.
No.
Fucked up, man.
No, I'm talking about current, not exes.
Oh, okay.
But
that could apply to my current.
but Sean and I, like, she's had a thing for me when she first saw me when we were in the Army.
You know there's penicillin for that, right?
Yeah, I'm allergic to penicillin.
No, I mean for her.
Yeah. But the thing is she knew that I was attached, and I was, and she didn't press the issue because I wouldn't have done anything anyways. But after we got out, or she got out, I got out, she moved back to New England, and we started talking. And talking a little bit here and there. A few years ago, I got to go spend, because of weather, it only ended up being a 24-hour trip out to New Hampshire. But the week we went to Tennessee, it was actually great because I actually got to spend time with her. And, you know, we got into a disagreement while we were there. She couldn't see my side of it because she had been drinking, and I left it alone. I wasn't going to, like, throw a huge fit.
That comes with age and maturity.
Well, it didn't stop her from cuddling up next to me because I'm a personal fucking furnace, from what I've been told. But the next day we were able.
I can attest to this.
Yeah. Wayne was
I can
getting.
confirm this
You
from the
alluded
trip
to
to
that
St.
earlier.
Louis. I can confirm this
Yeah.
from the trip to St. Louis.
But the next day she was sober, I was sober, and I was able to explain myself. She understood, and everything was good. And it's for Shauna and I understand what she went through overseas, and she kind of understands what I went through overseas. Not exactly, but just being overseas, being away from
general knowledge.
right.
Yeah.
And it's it's like you and Ann and Dwight and Kim and Wayne and Abby. They're there for each other. Mm-hmm. And granted, Shauna lives in New Hampshire. I live in Kansas City. And I mean, there's that big distance there, but still we're there for each other. Mm-hmm. And, Wayne knows this. Dwight knows this. I'm pretty sure I've told you this. And I've told a lot of people, if you ever need someone to talk to, a sounding board, an ear, I'm available at all times. Now, with that being said, I am going to start with James and Ann. They, here it's almost been 30 years. And when I come down to J&M Stu Him Productions Studio South, and if I happen to get up before them, I have to sit in the kitchen and not in the dining room with my headphones on, with noise canceling on, because they are still as in love as they were, almost 30 years ago.
We're old. We're not dead.
Right. Now, Dwight and
Morning,
Kim.
Booty.
Yeah. Dwight and Kim. Dwight being Italian, Kim being Vietnamese.
Oh, yeah, I'll fuck this up.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure I fucking said it wrong, but her ancestors came from Vietnam, but she was born in America.
Yeah, she has the moniker of made in Vietnam, assembled in the U.S.
Yes.
So, but yes, our parents came here from there.
She gets his sense of humor with the giving shit about everything, and she turns around and she turns it right back on him. And I mean, they are like they are like the quintessential Archie Bunker and Edith. Archie Bunker, he had all those zingers, and every now and then Edith would come back with something that would put him in his face.
Right.
And I just made that.
She keeps me on my toes. For sure.
Yeah. And
no, it's a competition all the time. If you're awake, you better be on your fucking shit.
With Wayne and Abby, I knew she was the one. Wayne had to make a very difficult decision, and it hurt him to the core. And he called me about it, and we talked about it, and I'm not going to go into details about it, but a couple of days later, I get a Facebook message from Abby, and she's thanking me. Unbeknownst to Wayne, she is thanking me for helping him with that decision that he had to make, and talking him through it and calming him down, and just being that. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that leader, because to be completely honest, Wayne and I were never on the same team as far as him working for me or vice versa. So I was never his direct leader, but I was the type of person that looked out for him, because I realized early on when I first met Wayne that his leadership wasn't the caliber that I was. And, I cared about Wayne when he was, especially after I found out that he was injured and he was at Bethesda, and, I reached out, I did my thing. When he was traveling from the East Coast back to Sodak, he would come through Tennessee and he would stay at my house. And when he was with that additional amoeba, if you will, they came and they spent Christmas at my house in 2016. And, that was the first Christmas without a family in my home. And it made me feel better. But I also, at that time, I knew he wasn't happy. So with Abby,
we fought like cats and dogs. It was awful.
With Abby, I know he's happy. I know Dwight is happy with Kim. And
absolutely.
I mean, there is no denying that James and Ann are still as much in love today as the day that they finally decided, you know what? I don't hate all men and I don't hate all women.
Right.
And, I mean, that's what I got to say about,
I got to say about that.
But,
food.
Yeah, everybody is happy now, which I am 100% proud of. Wayne and Abby, I pray that you guys can make it out here August 24th for the first annual J&M Solve the World get-together cookout extravaganza. Dwight and Kim.
There's something we could try to do. I have some stuff I need to bring out to you anyway, man.
Yeah.
So.
Dwight and Kim, I hope that you guys can make it out for the first annual J&M Solve the World cookout get-together extravaganza, August 24th. That is a Saturday. I don't have to say that I hope James and Ann are there because, well, it's happening at J&M
Our house.
Or Stu Him Productions Studio
garage.
South. Yes, your garage. I do hope that Shauna is able to make it out.
That'd be great.
Oh yeah, it would.
I do want to take a quick moment here,
yes,
and actually, while we're on the topic, man, I want to say, dude, it's really good to see you and hear you so happy. It's been a long time, and to be honest, even in the one that you, an aforementioned individual, if you may, I would say you are happier now than the one that you're reminded of from time to time.
Right.
You are so happy, and that makes me so happy to see you so happy, dude. So out there, Shauna, thanks for taking care of my big brother here, and keep doing what you're doing. Handling with care.
Yeah.
I'd also like to do a little PSA and hopefully maybe get some sponsorship for J&M Solve the World. But if you guys are aware or not aware, Post-it notes have a 100% success rate in my life.
Dry erase markers and mirrors too, homie. Dry erase markers and mirrors.
Yes, I'll give you that. when we were working together, just friends, we were sitting at the nurse's station one day, and I took a Post-it note and I wrote, "I like you. Do you like me?" And a little yes box, no box, right? And like when it's fifth grade, right?
I was going to say that was fifth grade, right?
Yeah, exactly, dude, right?
Right.
And she goes, "Well, there's no maybe box." And I looked at her, and I said, "I ain't got time for that shit." I said, "Pick one or pick none."
Right.
And now I was just being honest at that point.
Right.
So she checked yes, and she's passed it back to me. So when I was proposing to her, I said, "How do I want to do this? You know, obviously you got to get down on your knee and stuff, but what's the fucking the intro part? How do we, you know, what's the intro?" So like, we're not gonna do anything like this done before. And I said, "Fuck it, man." So I put on a post-it note and I said, "Will you marry me?" And I put a little yes box and no box. So we're sitting there, and I have video of this. It's great. And the only one that was in on it was the nurse that we worked with, who was hosting the party. So she's holding the video camera, right? And I do got to mention, and I hope that when Kim listens to this, she'll get a kick out of it, because I was about to do it. During over the course of the year, I said, we were just playing with each other. You know, she's like, "When are you gonna marry me?" I'm like, "Yeah, before the fucking calendar year's over. Leave me alone." So it's 11:30 on New Year's Eve. I'm about to do it. The camera's running. I get cock blocked by the fucking buffalo dip. It was excellent buffalo dip, by the way. But she walks away. I'm about to pull this thing out of my pocket, and she walks away. I'm like, "Fucking really?" Right? So she walks back, and she's munching on the tip and stuff. She fucking swallows the fucking thing, right? And I'm like, okay. And I pull it out of my pocket, and I fucking hand it to her. And as she opens it up, I jump down on my knee, and I pop the fucking box. I pull it out of my pocket, and I boom. And she's like, just flabbergasted, you know. And my back's to the fire. I'm not sure if there was enough light, so I turn to my right a little bit to one of the other nurses we worked with. And she looks at it and she goes, "Looks pretty fucking real to me." So I turned back to Kim, and Kim's like, I'm like, "Is that a yes?" And she's like, "You know," I'm like, and she's like, "Yes," and you know, big hug and everything like that. She's like, "Oh my God, just you know," and my wife hates fucking surprises, so I don't do those anymore. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. So hey, post it if you're listening. Fucking.
Yeah.
Monetize J&M Solve the World.
Yeah. You know, I just, I have to say, you know, this started off as a negative, but we have turned this into a straight positive, because we're all in a happy place. You know, I'd be in a happier place if, you know.
She moved to Kansas City?
Yes. Yeah. But until that time, you have just watched another episode of Stu Him Productions Presents
J&M Solve the World. I have been James.
And I have been Matt. And on behalf of my brothers, Wayne and Dwight, you keep one fist in the gold, one foot in the gutter, and we will be seeing you.
Peace.